Hello everyone, welcome back to Talk Tuesday.
Going up on the Tuesday.
So let's get into this. So
let's do it.
Today we're talking about blood.
Blood.
What?
Blood.
Baby's got what?
Blood.
Blood is a very interesting thing. I don't think a lot of people even understand that there is a lot more to blood than just that red
goo that's
thick
in us.
goo that just comes out of you whenever if you cut your skin. It's interesting that there's actually like different types of blood.
Yes. So the different types of blood are A, B, and O. There are other variations of these blood types, however. One of those variations is the Rh factor, which is actually called the rhesus factor.
Right.
And it's rhesus like the rhesus monkey.
Right.
So the Rh factor is a specific measurement of antigens in the blood. 85% of humans are Rh positive. However, that leaves 15% of the world that has Rh negative blood.
They measure the antigens, and if your blood either has the rhesus monkey factor or it doesn't, so that's why it's called negative or positive. So you either test positive for that or you test negative for that. And the majority of the population is positive, but there is the 15%, which in the grand scheme of things is a very small percentage of people that have this, don't have this marker. They don't have this rhesus.
So it's like,
monkey
why
factor.
are these people different? Do they not have the same common ancestor as us?
So people that are Rh negative, they are actually prone to a parasite called toxoplasma.
I also found out that there is more people with Rh negative blood in areas where toxoplasma is more common. And what's really weird is most of the world was not known to have Rh negative blood types until the 15th century. Before then, it didn't exist anywhere except for Europe.
And that's really interesting is where do you see this population of people with Rh negative blood?
Yeah.
And what we find is that it all originates from one area.
Yeah. So scientists have looked at this, obviously, and they looked back over 35,000 years to different tribes, and they think that they have been able to link the negative blood type to certain tribes. It's actually Europeans that have the greatest population of Rh negative blood, the most highly populated being Spain and France.
So the reason there's such curiosity about Rh negative blood, it has to do with where it came from. We don't understand where it came from fully. We have some ideas about it, and like we just said, it seems to have originated primarily in Europe. And it's interesting because when we look at blood types of people that come from African descent or come from Asian descent, it's a very, very small, minute population that actually tests for Rh negative. It's like tiny, 3% African descent and like 1% Asian descent. It's so small, and it's just so bizarre that the majority of it comes from, if not all of it, comes from Europe.
The fact that it's thought to be originated in Europe is really weird, considering most scientists consider sub-Saharan Africa the original place that all human life came from.
The majority of us came from African descent.
Right. How is this one blood type just starting in the middle of Europe? So there was an indigenous group called the Basque, and they come from the Pyrenees mountain range, which is between Spain and France. Speak a non-Indo-European language that is not spoken anywhere else in the world. And this is the population with the highest concentration of people with Rh negative blood. Up to 35% of the Basque people have Rh negative blood.
They're trying to figure out where it came from. Why is it that there's this group of people that have this Rh negative factor in such a large amount of them? Because we don't see that.
Other populations have 1%.
We don't see this, anywhere else.
One really weird thing about Rh negative blood is that if a woman gets pregnant and she has Rh negative blood and she gets pregnant with a positive blood baby, her body is going to try to attack that baby as if it's a foreign object. Super, super weird. So it's very hard for women to carry a baby to term when they are Rh negative. You have to take a lot more precaution. They have to get these like special shots actually to make up for the Rh factor. What's super, super weird that I had just found out today is that pretty much all our presidents in the United States have Rh negative blood.
Conspiracy, nah, go ahead and look it up. I ain't never been a chef for me to ever cook it up. I just hope people don't brush this off, disregard and cut this off. Now if you with me to say, my nigga, you got some explaining to do. My nigga, you got some explaining to do. And I'm listening, cause all the evidence is saying is true. So homie, you got some explaining to do. And I'm listening, I hope you're ready. My Lord is coming for you. And then you have some explaining to do. Homie, you gon' have some explaining to do. And we listening, I hope you're ready. My Lord is coming for you. And then You'll have some explaining to do, homie. You gon' have some explaining to do. And we listening. Alright, Jay, I saw your new video.
Negative blood is also a characteristic of the British royal family. The whole British royal family has Rh negative blood people. Come on, this is so weird. Not only that, but a lot of them are distant cousins who can be traced back to the same ancestor.
Yes.
That's
going back
creepy.
Generations. It's very creepy. I think they went back 9 generations when talking about Obama, and they linked him to
Dick Cheney, Sarah Palin.
Who was the one
Warren
that
Buffett,
way
Brad
back
Pitt.
that they all linked to?
King John, who was the one that signed the Magna Carta.
Right. So they're all linked
Boom.
back to this British
So
king.
it seems like that power is still in power.
It's a great thing for history.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, William Howard Taft, and President Barack Obama. One young girl traced them all back to one common ancestor.
They're all cousins and all grandsons of John Lackland.
It's the first family tree of its kind, pouring through more than 500,000 names for months. 12-year-old Bridge Ann d'Avignon discovered that all the U.S. presidents, except Martin Van Buren, are related to the former King of England, John Lackland Plantagenet, signer of the Magna Carta in 1215.
Royal blood. Royal blood
Yeah.
still
It's
runs.
like this rare blood type, and all royalty and all presidents have this blood type. That's so bizarre. And of course they've tried to hide this, but like with all these ancestry sites and DNA sites, like this stuff's just coming out more and more.
But they've all been traced back to royal blood lineage is what we're saying. And that's very interesting because when people left Britain, they were coming here for freedom and to get away from the royal rule. And when you actually look at the blood lineage and realize that all of our leaders pretty much have this royal blood lineage, it makes you wonder, like, are we still under royal rule? Talking about Rh negative blood, the interesting thing is that we don't know where it comes from and we don't know how it came about. We don't know the origination of the negative blood type. Many people, many scientists have basically come to the conclusion that it was just some random genetic mutation, which is possible. I mean, there's tons and tons of genetic mutations that can happen, but it seems like the evidence is starting to point towards a possible extraterrestrial origin even. And what's interesting is that when you look at people that have actually been claimed to have been abducted by aliens, many if not all of these people have Rh negative blood type, which is interesting. So a lot of people that study this sort of thing and look at the ancient civilizations, specifically Sumeria and the Sumerians, based upon looking at the text, the ancient text of the Sumerians, what they've been able to determine is that Sumerians believed in an extraterrestrial ancient race of aliens that came to Earth, and they were the ones that not only showed them how to use modern technology, they also believe that these ancient aliens, which they called the Anunnaki, actually genetically engineered humans, or the hominids that were here at that time. So it's possible that these Rh negative people, the reason why they're clairvoyant, why they're being abducted by aliens, is because it's possible they're direct relatives of these Anunnaki that once were here on Earth, possibly.
Well, that would make sense because this blood is so foreign. It seems alien. It's so different from regular. It's blue. Yeah,
it's blue blood. That's a huge thing. It's blue blood versus our blood.
That seems
is
alien.
Red. The ancient Sumerians believed in something called the Tree of Life, and some people have interpreted the Tree of Life as being a tree that existed underwater. And the particular plant that they think it may have been was kelp. And kelp is a very nutrient-rich plant that blue-blooded creatures need. So they think that another theory is that through evolution there may have been some sort of humans or hominids that existed underwater, because the Sumerians depicted basically humans that were, hybrid with, fins and things like that.
Basically mermaids.